Shine Inside and Out is an interview series where I chat with some of the brightest people I know who are unapologetically shining their light and empowering others to do the same. From fellow beauty professionals who are experts in the art of beauty and creativity to inner beauty experts who are passionate about authenticity, creativity, health, thriving relationships, finances, and people who are spiritually connected to their truth and living as their highest self. Hello, my name is Andrea Pettingill, and welcome to Shine Inside and Out. I am here with the beautiful Jennifer, and you have to tell me how to say your last name. I ask you every time.
It's Jennifer Giordano.
Giordano. Okay, I am going to remember that. So I'm here with Jennifer Giordano, and today we are talking about being women, being authentic, how those relationships, women to women in the workplace, in your friendships, in your family, how those affect us and how we can learn and grow from those to our highest good for all involved. And this is just such a juicy topic. And so I'm so honored that Jennifer was willing to have this conversation with me, and I'm excited for all of you watching to be introduced to her and to learn a little bit more about her. So I asked her to give a introduction, a little bio, or whatever you want to tell us about who you are and what you're all about.
Thank you, Andrea. Just first of all, I want to say what a graceful way to just make me feel comfortable within this interview environment. And kudos to you for bringing this forth, for bringing forth your dream, and for being courageous enough to take on any blocks and overcome them. So thank you for showing up. My path started in a little town called Hemet. I was born in California. And right from the beginning, I knew that I was different than people around me. What I've discovered is that there are souls that incarnate, that come here, that have higher wisdom or higher knowledge, like a teacher, that are here to serve humanity. And it has taken me about 30 years to discover the how, and to be actually awakened and conscious of who I am. So does that answer your question?
Yes, that's beautiful. That's like the deeper, juicier part of like your journey. I love it. So
yeah, been through probably every kind of trauma that you can describe, from rape to family disturbances, like my father leaving the family. I was born into a church, and then my father actually left the family when I was 4, and his role as a father was replaced with a very abusive stepfather. And so right from the beginning, I went from trauma to trauma to trauma to trauma, until the age of 30, when I realized that all of those traumas were there so that I could find the purpose in my pain, so that I could discover all of this and then help pretty much anybody who has gone through traumatic life experiences, and to tell them they can shine beyond that pain and they can heal themselves beyond those experiences, because we are not this body and we are not this life. We're eternal souls.
Yes, that is so beautiful. I love that. So really quickly, before we get into our topic, I want to clarify for the people watching, how do you do that? Like, what do you actually do with your clients? I know you do a lot of things, so I want to clarify that.
Wonderful. Yeah, so I am a yoga therapist, and I'm developing a technology that I call radiance technology, or RT. My vision is basically that when I pass on, this technology will be passed on to alternative healers who are in the field of energy medicine, people like Reiki masters, people who are yoga teachers, but they want to take teaching to a different level, where they're not just teaching about the physical body and how to be healthy in the physical body, but the higher yogic philosophies of how to yoke with God or union with God. A lot of what I believe was Christ or Christ's consciousness is revolving around a lot of the yogic philosophies. They parallel each other. You know, service to mankind, service being the way to enlightenment. You can live heaven on earth. You know, Christ really did mention that we would all be as he is, you know, that we would live a life, if we chose it, as enlightened as he was, with peace and love and charity as our guides. And so yoga for me has helped me to heal a lot of the wounds of my past, and to know how to interact within relationships with others in a way that maybe isn't easy. It's not always comfortable to do the right thing, but it ends up being, okay, this is for the greatest good of all involved, not just the greatest good for me and what I can get out of it. So what I teach is Kundalini yoga, which has a lot to do with breath work and body positions that help your central nervous system and your brain to operate and function properly, so your soul can inhabit the body temple. So for example, I'll show you. Is that okay if I just show you like one little?
Yes, will you? Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so to open your heart, if you are feeling contracted, like something is breaking your heart, for about 7 minutes to 11, either 7 minutes or 11 minutes. This is all numerology based. So 7, 11, or 22 is the time that you do these meditations. And this one is so easy. There's a song called Ad Gure Name. So it's a chant, that the vibrational therapy for your endocrine system. Ad Gure Name, Sat Gure Name, Siddhi Guru Deve Name. And you put your hands here, and you literally close your eyes and look up at your brow point, your ajna, and you lift the arms straight up, and then you bring them back down to the heart, and you sing Ad Gure Name, Jagad Gure Name, Sat Gure Name, Siddhi Guru Deve Name. So this is called a medical meditation, or as Dharam Singh Khalsa, who's a medical doctor, he coined that, medical meditations, or meditations that affect your central nervous system, your brain, your heart, your energy bodies. And when you're done with that, it just makes you feel completely full of love, because you're really protected and your magnetic field of your heart is expanded.
Yes, I love that, because like I've practiced Kundalini I'll just say at the beginning of my practice, but I remember when I first did something like that, where I got to say, you know, the Ad Gure Name, and just like really resonate with those words, like the feeling that it creates in your body. And at first I just thought, oh, it's something that helps me to focus while I'm meditating. But now I'm learning that there's a technology, like you said, a medical meditation that is actually healing my nervous system. It's actually helping my body, you know. And I was like, when I first got onto your website and was realizing the real benefits of Kundalini, I was like, yes, like that totally resonates with me. It's such a powerful technology. So amazing.
6,000 years old. You know, we have these research articles that are written not even 100 years ago, and we think that is God's word. But really, these technologies, these ancient practices, are 6,000 years old, and they don't cost a dime. They're free. Breath, air is free. Movement is free. You know, you just need someone to teach you how to do it, and then you go on your way and you do it yourself.
It's empowering yourself. Yeah, it's not like you have to keep paying to, like, you know, receive that, but it's empowering the self. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Okay. I love that. That's perfect. That helps us to get to know like you better and what you do. That's so beautiful.
And I work a lot with men. I'll be honest, mostly men are the ones that are drawn to working with me. But my desire is to start to reach out to women. The thing that I've noticed is women don't like to spend money on healing themselves and spend money on being in an intimate space with another woman. It's not a normal thing. We're used to having kind of shallow conversations with each other.
Mhm.
And when we get really, really deep, we only do that with our girlfriends or with our family members. But the truth that I've discovered is that I could have an interaction with a complete stranger that's more transformative and more beneficial than, like, I call them earth angels. Have you ever had somebody show up in your life and they're just like a pure angel in your life?
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Oh my gosh, I would love to hear one of your stories because I know you probably have so many.
I love it when people just show up perfectly at the perfect time and perfect, for your journey to help you to progress that you didn't even realize, like just different synchronicities without getting into any specific story that coming to mind, but just how someone that was just never like part of my life before was there at the perfect time to be like, to show up and like be there so that I could make this different choice from the path that I was on, right? And it's like, oh, it's so perfect that this lined up, So, yeah. Well, let's talk about our topic today, if that's okay. Are you ready to dive into this?
Let's dive. I got my scuba gear.
Awesome. Okay. So today we are talking about the conversation of, and you kind of touched on it, where women are together and they're creating dialogue that might create opportunity to make a couple choices, whether you want to go in one direction of being fully authentic and holding space for healing, or whether you want to put up walls and not allow that healing and that growth. And I really want to talk about, when we were preparing for this, we were kind of touching on how just like what we were just talking about, actually, angels coming into your life, of how we are all here to help each other heal and create that healing for each other. So what do you feel is one of the biggest blocks that keeps women from like receiving that divine teacher that is in front of them?
Oh, it's so many directions we can go with this. I can speak from my own perspective. So from a young age, I was like a little fairy, I was like a little blonde girl with long blonde hair, prancing around. I didn't want to be the center of attention, but I was always the center of attention just because of the way I looked. And I bounced around and I just made friends with everybody. I adored animals. I was a sensitive soul. And I was born into a very kind of roughneck, tough environment in this small country town with, a stepfather who was very, he would put me in the back of a Jeep at the age of 8 and no seatbelt. And he would drive straight up a cliff, like in his 4-wheel drive Jeep. And he was trying to make a man out of me, So I grew up sweet soul in this environment of toughness, and I kept trying to hold on to my innocence, hold on to my sensitivity, but things in my life were making it harder. I had a couple of young, like 14 years old, I had a couple of girlfriends that were very good friends of mine, that I was doing a lot for them, like bringing them to my home when their mother would be violent and letting them have a sleepover with me to cheer them up. And I would do these kinds of things with my girlfriends with a pure heart of intention of love. And then a month later, a year later, I'd find out like they made out with my boyfriend, or they, ran off and talked about me behind my back. And that purity and innocence started to, and then I was a cheerleader, so I was with women a lot in cheerleading environments. And they were always trying to compete with me or like take my power. And I think that this is something women do, is they come together and they try to take each other's power or knock each other down. And it is a cultural thing. It is something we are taught. We have to fight for everything. We can't unite or be community together. And the truth is that our power lies in our connection with each other. Our power lies in our loving each other, in being in community with each other. And there's enough to go around. There's enough guys to go around. There's enough money to go around. There's enough. This is a limitless universe. And if women really got quiet and got away from the busyness and the shopping and the dating and and just got quiet and got internal and practiced an internal quiet practice, then what I call the divine mother, the divine feminine, could come in and then through them. But first, to be able to receive her.
Yeah. Yes, that is so exactly. Oh my goodness. Cause like in the salon industry, in the beauty industry, I experienced that so much of the, we immediately as women, we jump to this competitive and like you said, there's enough men to go around. There's enough, everything to go around, but we are trained almost or programmed to believe in the scarcity of beauty, the scarcity of being the top popular girl, right? Like it's like trained in us from school that like, well, I need to be the prettiest, so I can't hang out with other women who are that powerful. And I'm learning that like right now I'm attracting other women who are, powerful and in their divine feminine and in their beauty. And I'm like, that's so interesting, that the shift of people showing up in my space, and it's me allowing and receiving that. And so that is so huge that we get so stuck in pushing away or competing, don't you think?
I do. And I think what you just said really triggered something in me. This is what I do. I listen to what you're saying, and then I develop kind of a roadmap for what is she really saying. I have a very keen ability to people and then intuitively know what they're really saying and then reflect back to them. And what I felt like you were saying, and what a lot of women experience is the same thing, is that so you want to be friends with women and you want to heal the feminine. Mm-hmm. You want to be the one who lifts people up. But what happens is when you're in that position, but you're unconscious of what you're attracting, you'll attract very wounded people that all they really want to do is drag you down. But you think, oh, this is the lowest common denominator. This is the saddest person, the most broken person I know, so I should be helping them. But the truth is we don't at the bottom of the well, struggling to save people who are drowning. We could be at the top of the well helping people who are already doing their own inner work. And that's about boundaries, having clear and healthy boundaries about if you're not doing your own work and you're not empowering yourself, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to give you my energy. I'm not going to give you my time. You do your own work and I will help facilitate that. Yeah. But don't expect me to carry all your baggage for you.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. And when I say like that, the people that are coming into my space, I feel like when I accept that I am ready to put up those boundaries and be more, because it serves everyone when I'm putting those boundaries up at my highest good and for their highest good, because it brings the example and what really I'm going to give and offer, what energy I'm going to put forth, so that they know where to step up into their greatness, so that they can be on that level to receive and to collaborate instead of take, right?
Yes, exactly. Collaboration on healing, because it's like a rock climber. Remember we were talking about this the last time we spoke?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Rock climbing, you have one belaying and you have one person going up the mountain, and then the other one switches and starts to climb, and this person carries the other person, and that's how healthy relationships work.
It's a healthy relationship, yes.
Yeah, it's I'm excited for the new age of civilization, this new earth, because from more of a mysticism perspective, We have lived on a planet almost 20,000 years. This is my kind of divine inspiration, since the days of Atlantis and the days of Lemuria, when the continents were all together. At that time, we had sophisticated technology. We spoke with each other through telepathic communication. We connected with the earth. We lived in a natural state, and there was no stress and cardiovascular disease and toxic pollutants, because we knew how to live in harmony. Mm-hmm. And when we learn how to live in harmony within our relationships, we learn how to live in harmony within our relationship with the earth. That is when true joy and happiness, the thing that we're clawing and dancing and shimmying towards, everybody's doing their own thing, but like whatever it is that you're doing to try to get to happiness, why not just be in harmony and be happiness? And then it comes at you. You magnetize happiness, happy people, happy experiences, opportunities, and Kundalini Yoga has done this for me. I went through a deep purification. I'm still going through it. Things like rashes on my hands, purging energy out, rashes on my body, sleeping for 10 hours, for a week straight, purging. And it takes a courageous person to say, I'm done with these programs. I'm ripping them out and replacing them with more love.
Yes. And something that I want to point out, because someone watching might be going through their journey and might be seeing that stuff come up. But there's a mantra or just a quote or saying that comes to mind that says, when you've been doing the wrong thing long enough, doing the right thing feels wrong, right? So when you've been doing the wrong thing long enough, doing the right thing feels wrong. So they might experience the rash or the just total tiredness and think, I need to stop doing my Kundalini practice. I need to get away, so that comes up for people. And that is listening to a lie. The lies limit us and the truth will set us free when we realize that the freedom in the thought of like, oh, this must be a purging and a cleansing. How is this serving me? It might be my body releasing something. When we listen to that,
into that, maybe we need to surrender into that.
Yeah, surrender.
Yeah, and think about Christ. Was Christ's mission easy? How many Christians? We have mostly a Christian nation here in America, and people that are not living Christian values. That are, let's just be real, they're not living like Christ. Christ didn't go shopping every day. Christ was out in the streets with one outfit, living amongst the people, sometimes camping in the desert. I mean, this is the kind of man we want to be, right? Like, this is the kind of being we want to be, right? If we're Christian, we got to strip away the thoughts and things and enter into oneness with ourselves and with others and see the good that come into our life.
I think that this goes back to an identity piece, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's a Kundalini saying that says, because a lot of times we're like, oh, I'm a nail tech, or oh, I'm a
identify labels.
So then the what I've learned from Kundalini is the saying, I am not a man, I am not a woman, I am not, etc., I am a teacher. And that's what I feel like Christ taught through example. Was he was always teaching, right?
Yeah, that's a beautiful example. It's true. And you know what else? Kundalini yoga, Kundalini yoga, that's what we call it. Kundalini yoga. Another thing that it taught me is that sometimes, you got to break down to be rebuilt. Sometimes you have to just surrender it all to be rebuilt, to be reborn, to be resurrected, right? From the old version of yourself that no longer serves you. And it served you then. You needed to learn the lessons you learned. The other thing Yogi Bhajan always used to say, and hear these words because it's so transformative. He would say all the time, if you cannot see God in all, you cannot see God at all. And when I heard that,
is
the simplicity of that message,
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, I'm writing that down when I get down, get my paper. I'm gonna rewatch this. That's beautiful. That is so beautiful. Like, it takes me back to our conversation because we're talking about women, right? So when we feel this competitive nature come up for us, when we feel this like fear of a relationship with another woman, just as a woman, that will come up for us. And what you just said, if you don't see God in them. And so, and another saying I've learned is to just repeat to yourself when you have that come up, to just say, she is me. And to really feel that and to really understand that and to
actually the divine feminine is a Kuan Yin, a compassionate caregiver. But she's also a wisdom keeper. And she's also a wolf woman. She's also wild, like a wild animal at times, depending on what she needs to be. And that multidimensionality is being in your divine feminine.
Yes.
That power position. I think when people meet me, sometimes if they are not in their own power, if they are not feeling authentically, like they're living authentically, they'll see me and I am intimidating. I'm like seeing a Black Panther.
Yeah.
You know, what is that thing? Oh, keep it away from me, right?
Right.
And I discovered that is the way that unfortunately, some women interact with me. They see me as some kind of they see me as maybe some kind of a part of them that they're scared of.
They're scared of, exactly. That's what it is. That's like hitting it on the head, because it's this like fear that comes up, and so they just want to push away from it because that's what they've been pushing down in themselves. They have this program saying, I'm not supposed to be a bold, strong, powerful woman, and how dare she try to be a bold, strong, powerful woman. So that combats with my truth and my story. And since I've decided to believe this, I'm not going to allow her the permission to be that way. So I'm going to either, push her out of my life. I'm either going to judge her, or and that's what we do. We just it happens fast and subconsciously in our minds.
Yeah, I've had so many, sad nights crying and thinking and pondering about this, wishing that it would be different, wishing I could find more women who are able to be courageous and brave. And then I think to myself, stop feeling sorry for yourself. You're supposed to be one of the leaders. Be an integrative leader. Combine that combination of the goddess who wants to be pretty and wear makeup and fancy things with the other goddess, the other goddess archetype, who's the divine wisdom keeper, teacher. Like, fuse all of it so that we're all getting along better. We don't have to have friends that just look like us and just act like us. We can have friends that are different than us, but as soon as they are behaving in a way that is disrespectful to you or dishonoring your needs and boundaries, then we have to learn that it's okay to say no. 2 little letters. N-O. I don't want this in my life anymore. I don't owe this person anything. And it's time to lovingly separate, lovingly in a way where I say, here's my truth. I'm so sorry that you're where you're at, but I'm gonna have to go and walk away, and leave the door open lovingly. When you're ready to meet me where I am, we can reunite.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. I wanted to bring it back to when you were talking about, and I'm not as familiar with the history and stuff of you brought up the times of like Atlantis, or like a time back when we were powerful enough to be able to telepathically communicate, etc. And I really feel the shift of, like, just being honest, I really feel that that's what we're meant to step back into, right? And so when I think of what?
Is that exciting? Like, we're already
really exciting.
Sure.
Yeah, it's really exciting. And so when I think about it, I think, okay, I'm sitting here in front of this woman or any relationship. What if they could hear every thought I have? What if I could hear every thought they have? And that really helps me to cleanse my mindset and where I'm at the time, and really just like honor them where they're at. Like, I don't know if that resonates with you, like just that thought process of being like, how can I be more closer to my higher self, who my higher self is this, you know, divine feminine who is capable of that, you know, transparency, authenticity. And so what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I love that you're bringing this up. I so appreciate it, because it actually brings me to an experience I recently just had. And I'd love to share this just briefly.
Mm-hmm.
There's a woman who's an energy healer who I met, who does what's called therapeutic touch. And I met her at the Utah Public Health, Public Health Conference. And it was 1,000 community health workers, medical doctors, energy healers who've been doing work for 30 to 35 years. I mean, these were my elders. And I went up to a woman and I said to her, I grabbed her arms and I said, I am so grateful for the work that you have done, for what you have laid out, and the sacrifices that you made to continue to push forward as an energy healer and not to go get a job as a realtor or something, you know. And I was so appreciative of her, and she looked at me. I said, and I know I could learn so much from you for my business. And she looked at me and she said, oh no, don't call it a business. It's not a business. Healing is da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And she went on down this path of argumentation and ego. So see, even the healers need healing. Even the, you know, our elders have fought, and there's some, you know, stuckness in them as well from being warriors. And I just, when I wanted to fight back, like I wanted to be like, well, I didn't mean like business. I mean, I'm not trying to say like, no, you know.
Oh, you kind of cut out.
Okay. My phone rang, sorry.
Yeah,
so,
you were saying you were...
So anyway, so what I did is I realized something inside of me was like, don't fight, just breathe. Just breathe. And so I went, yeah. And I just lovingly looked at her, shook my head, listened. I just let her express herself, not needing to be right, not needing to prove myself. But it took a lot to get there. I was having an internal struggle. But once I did that, once I just surrendered and said, let her talk, let her express herself. You don't have to convince her. You don't have to prove anything. It was so liberating. It was like, I don't have to agree with everybody, and I don't have to prove anything. Yes. If this comes up, just let this person express themselves.
That's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that story. Well, I really feel that just breathe, like you don't like the same, would you rather be right or happy, like that, you know, comes in right there. Is just like where I don't need to listen to my ego and, you know, create more friction.
I'm down a road of suffering.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. Wow. Well, this has been like amazing conversation, and I don't want to take up too much more of your time, but I would love to, if you have any more final thoughts on helping the modern women right now going through these situations with friction-based relationships that they're experiencing in their lives, and what would serve them? What more higher thought would serve them, or practice would serve them in getting to the lesson behind that experience?
That is a great question. I've been pondering this a lot. And I think that the number one thing is to remember that there is healing in the discomfort. Where you feel pain it's a part of you that you need to focus attention on. So do not run away from uncomfortable situations. Now, I say that you should run away and walk away from people who are abusive and people who are neglectful, but there's a fine line. The things that make you uncomfortable are the places where you can grow.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I would say to women is to love yourself more. Do one thing, 1 hour a day that is self-nourishing. If you continue to nourish your husband first, nourish your children first, nourish your, think about it. You're putting the life mask on yourself first so you can breathe, so you can be powerful, and so you can be whole. Then you go out and with an overflowing cup, you give, you nurture, you nourish. But if you are not nurtured, if you are not full, you're just going to be kind of did you ever see The Little Mermaid? You know those little people that Ursula changed into little sea?
They like shrivel
like, ah! Don't be that. Be your powerful self. And the way to do that is to do things that are self-love activities.
Mm-hmm. And I think you are the perfect example of that, because the amount of time and energy you put into your practice, as far as your spiritual practices, your yoga, your Kundalini, or anything else that you do, really is telling your brain and body that I love me enough to do this for me, because my personal growth, my personal power is that important to me. And then your cup is overflowing.
And I don't have a marriage, I don't have kids. And a lot of women are going to be like, how can I even relate to her? Well, you can, because just because I have not married and just because I have no children doesn't mean that I haven't given to the children of God. I have interacted with thousands of people, and I have so much love that I pour out to people I barely know every day, all the time. So the love that you as a woman are putting and directing into your child, or the love that you're directing into your husband, I'm doing the same thing, but with lots of different people. And I do care, and I do understand what a married woman goes through, because I was a child of a single mother. You know, I watched my mother, my grandmother. I come from a lineage of strong women. The choice that I made not to have children and have a marriage yet is because I had to develop and build myself and then teach others how to do that. How could I do that if I was in constant, interaction with just the home environment? I needed to be out in the world. And it's okay. There are some women that need to do that for a while and then maybe go and do motherhood later in life. And we're seeing that a lot more. Yeah. But I have such a compassionate heart for the housewives and the women who have been home, because you've been giving and giving and giving. And I have a desire to help you learn how to give to yourself as well.
Mm-hmm. I so appreciate you sharing that, because a lot of times I put a self-judgment on myself as far as me being able to share my message, being a wife but not a mother, right? And I think it's so true. Like, it doesn't have to look a certain way. And we are women. We have that nurturing. It's just part of who we are. And now through your words, I'm seeing that I do that with my clients. Like, I give and I give so much, and that's where I do that. I'm getting emotional because I love my clients. Like I'm like, oh wow, like that is where that fits into my life and where I have experience with that, because like their progress and their journey is so important to me. I'm like, whoa, I didn't even know that was in there. So thank you so much. Oh my goodness. Like, yes, like we are all, nurturing in our own way. And that is so beautiful to yeah. And I'm sure, it's just, anyways, thank you.
You're welcome. It's important for us to remember that just because a woman doesn't have, she's been a career woman, doesn't make her any more feminine.
Exactly.
She might have a desire to be a mother and to be married. I've been judged a lot in my family for not choosing to be married and have children younger. I'm almost 36 years old, and it's been a source of pain. But when I detached myself from what other people think of me,
Mhm.
I'm liberated. And I can see that my gifts are still being offered, just not in a home environment. And the other way around, a woman who is, you know, married and has always been married with children can be just a beacon of beauty and shining light to the world. And she never had a career and she never got educated. So what? She learned everything she needed to learn for her life experience in the home.
Through the home experience, yes. Yeah. Yeah, that's so true. So perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much. Before we go, I wanted to allow those watching a little bit more information about where they can find you, about what you're working on right now in your business and what you're excited about, and what would be the next step for them to find out more about you.
Oh, okay. That's great. Yeah, I can share that really briefly. I just completed a website. The website is Radiance, RADIANCE, Tech, TECH, Jennifer.com. That site has a scheduling app. I use the Mind Body scheduling app. So if you wanted to schedule with me, I do private sessions for an hour and a half right here in my home office. I teach Kundalini yoga, doing privates or semi-privates. I teach aerial yoga, and it's spelled AIREAL. I am a reverend, so I'm actually qualified to marry people, at least in California. I'm not going to do that very often. I only got it because my brother wants me to marry him. So I'm going to marry my brother this year. So that's exciting. I also can offer telephone, like Skype calls for 30 minutes that I'm still debating how much to charge. I think it'll probably be kind of an introduction. So for the 35 minutes, it'll be like $25. And that way you can meet me and I can kind of assess where I can help you. But I specialize in really breaking patterns of behavior and that pattern interruption. So I do spiritual life coaching, I call it, or spiritual life counsel. I'm kind of like a modern day oracle or priestess, if you will, because you know, I set myself up to have a broad range of information from nutrition, from diet, I was a pharmaceutical rep, I was a nutrition specialist, I was a fitness model, I was a stunt woman, I was an aerial yoga performer like Cirque du Soleil. So I've done such a broad range of things that I'm pulling it together and creating radiance technology. So it's Reiki, massage, light touch, aromatherapy, crystal, counsel, all of crystals, counsel, all of that. And whatever it is you need, whatever works for your language is how I treat you. So it's less about protocols and more about using intuitive guidance to help another human being and to meet them where they're at. So sometimes I need to do yoga and breath work with you because you're not like in your body. And sometimes people have already in their body, they just have these patterns of behavior that they want to like weed and pull it out and throw it out and then always replace it with something good. So I'm kind of a pioneer out here developing.
That's really amazing. I love that. It's like this customizable, perfect like space to go to for your soul and your body to be connected and to be living at your highest self. Like
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
As a daily medication.
Yes, exactly. I love it. Okay. So radiancetechjennifer.com, right?
That's right.
Okay, perfect.
And I have a page, you can find it at the bottom of the website. There's Facebook page.
Oh yeah.
Instagram. I'm at Arielini Yogini.
Oh, that's
Realini Yogini.
awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jennifer. This was a great topic, a great conversation. Thank you for offering your light and being here today. And I'm actually really excited to someday come and do an aerial session with you. I'm excited to do that. And so
I'm just going to even show you guys. Look at this.
Oh, please do. That's your setup. Oh, how cool.
Yeah, inversion therapy right here in Pleasant Grove, Utah.
That's amazing. I can't wait. I can't wait. No, I'm like seriously like thinking of the day and time when I get to go down there. So I'm gonna go to your website and schedule on your scheduler.
See you. Come visit me.
Thank you so much for doing this with us today. And yeah, thank you so much.
You're welcome. My pleasure. I'll talk with you very soon, and God bless your day.
All right, guys, that is a wrap for today's interview. I hope that I get to have you back for the next episode of Shine Inside and Out. And again, my name is Andrea Pettingill, and I just want to remind you to shine your brightest today.